All right, welcome back. We ran out of time on that last video, so we were leaving off at example 4, letter A. We were graphing a hyperbola, and we were talking about the domain. The domain is any x that's less than or equal to -2, and all the x's that are positive or equal to 2. I'm sorry, x's greater than or equal to 2. But the range is how far up and how far down this graph goes. So the range, there really is any range of numbers for the range. So for the range, we're going to say all real numbers. So the range can be anything you want it to be. All right, the last one is 5y squared minus x squared equals 45. What we're going to do for this one is find the intercepts once again. To find the y-intercept, I sub 0 in for y. To find the x-intercepts, I sub 0 in for y. Cover this up. If I move the negative to the other side, I'm going to get x squared equals -45. And when I go to square root it, that's going to be imaginary. So I know right now that this equation has no x-intercepts. This hyperbola will never cross the x-axis. To find the y, I think I might have said that wrong, and I apologize. Because it has no x-intercepts, it's never going to cross the x-axis. So let's find the y-intercepts. To find the y-intercepts, I'm going to sub 0 into the x position, covering that term up, and now it reads 5y squared equals 45. 5y squared equals 45. Divide both sides by 5. I get y squared equals 9. Square root both sides. The y-intercepts are at positive and -3. So on the y-axis, up 3, down 3. And remember, we just want to have the general shape of the hyperbola. Kind of looks like a double parabola, one facing up, one facing down. But I want you to know right now it is not a parabola, it is a hyperbola. It has a different equation as to how it behaves on the coordinate plane. Domain. The domain is going to be all numbers. The domain is how far left and how far right this goes. So the domain is going to be all real numbers. And the range, we're going to go from the bottom of the graph to the -3, is all y numbers greater than or equal to -3. I have that backwards, don't I? No, less than or equal to. Y is less than or equal to -3, or y is greater than or equal to +3. Remember, there's nothing in the middle here. The graph does not exist between -3 and 3 on the y-axis. All right, Ms. Grody's going to go over some review for you.
Okay, now this is just a little summary of what we've done so far. This is not, if you printed out the handout notes, this is not on there. This is just separate. So if you want to put this on a little piece of notebook paper and make a note for yourself. These are the different types of equations we've talked about today. We have first, this guy right here is a circle. You know this, you've got a plus here, and then the numbers in front of the x and the y, if those are the same, that's how you know that it's going to be a circle. The coefficients here are both 2, and that's going to make that a circle with the plus. The other option you have, if you've got a plus in between these x squared and y squared, this is a plus again. Now, the number in front of our x squared here is 2, and I know it's not written in there right now, but the y has a coefficient there of 1. If these two numbers are different, that's what causes the stretch in your graph. The circle, they're the same. The ellipse, the different numbers are going to change the intercepts so they're a little different. This is when you have your ellipse. Now, separate from those two, those guys both have a plus. Anytime you have a minus, both of these are going to be a hyperbola. Now, it just depends which one of your x or y is positive, the way that the hyperbola is going to turn on the graph. So if your x value has a positive coefficient, which is right there, I'm going to just draw this down here for you a little bit. If you got a positive coefficient, the y is negative here. This will not interact with the y-axis. So if it's an x coefficient that's positive, your two branches are going to wrap around your x-axis like that. And let me just grab a different color real quick here so I can do the other one. Now, if the y is positive, so right there I've got 2y squared, that's the positive for the y, then you're not going to interact with your x-axis. There's not going to be an x-intercept here. So if the y coefficient is positive, you're going to have your two branches of your hyperbola, are going to wrap around your y-axis. So this little summary, you got your circle, your ellipse, your hyperbola. Those are the three conic sections we talked about today. And now you guys are going to move on and do the homework assignment. The answers are attached on this document as well in the bundle if you keep moving down. And take your time. If you have any questions, please try and work into a teacher's office hours, work with each other, or come seek out help from a teacher in the class and resource room, and we're here to help you.
Good luck. Have fun.